1, 2, 3. What's up, boys? How you doing?
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Wiser?
Welcome. Second episode, 2 Bees, 1 Hive. Hope you're all glad to be here tonight.
Yeah, I moved out of the bathroom.
I like how you open the curtains a little bit. Turn this off, and we can get down to business here. Unfortunately, I just want to make a quick announcement about what we had hopefully had planned for this episode. Was we had Snip from War Whales, co-leader from War Whales, lined up, and he unfortunately kind of had to cancel at the last minute. I guess he's very sick, so hopefully Snip will get a little better. But JP was talking to him, so anyhow, we're gonna move on. We still got a ton of stuff to talk about. So I'm here obviously with my wonderful co-hosts. We got Mr. Pitino in the top left, JP in the middle there, and good old Dr. D in the top right. How you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Good. What's going on, Wiser?
Doing good, man.
Absolutely. It's been too long. It's been 2 weeks, but it feels like a year with everything going on.
Yeah, I know. It seems like we have some potential going here. Some of our future guests, and really unfortunate that we couldn't get Snip on tonight. We're gonna have to get him booked in again, but I think it would have been a great. I think I see great things. I mean to say, going forward with this. So I just kind of want to jump into some quick things. Obviously, guys, we're going to do any sort of question and answers you got for us. If you're on the YouTube chat, if you're on our Discord chat, we do have our public Discord going as well. And obviously, go ahead and tweet us out at OneHiveClan, at OneHiveClan. And we're going to get your questions answered here at the end, hopefully, of the segment. We're obviously going to talk some Golden Goblins. That was some big news that dropped, but we're saving that for sort of the cherry on top of everything because we do have a lot going on in the clan right now that I want to cover. And I kind of wanted to start things off by mentioning having a little bit of a segment where we can just talk about where Swarm and Invicta are at right now. Dr. D is kind of our guy covering a lot of that stuff down there for us. So we didn't touch too much in our last episode exactly kind of how their progression was through CWL Light this season and sort of what their plans are moving forward. Maybe you can kind of fill us in on some of that.
Sure. So as far as where Invicta and Swarm are right now, Invicta is in the process of we kind of always are, but reorganizing guys and getting ready for the next season of the CWL. As far as, I'll come back to that in a second, as far as where Invicta ended up, we talked a little bit about this last time. Invicta lost to UK Weekend War. And that meant that one loss kept Invicta out of the.
Actually, I think I have right here somewhere. Was just sort of the so you can see right here. I got Invicta at 4-1, and UK Weekend War at 5-0. Really, other than that, it was not tight across the board. It came down to just between Invicta and UK War there.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, I mean, if you look at that stars for, stars against, right? We both wound up with 356 stars. They eked out a win against us. Kind of a tough break, which put them into the finals. They just lost Above and Beyond. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago now. And Above and Beyond is going to be going into CWL Light finals with Dark Looters X. So that'll be next week. That's later this week. Sorry. It'll be interesting, and that'll wrap up CWL Light. So
star differential is incredible. 41 plus 41 star differential for Invicta.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
We had a great season, and it's unfortunate, how things.
I think it's more crazy how you Invicta and UK Weekend War tied in overall star count. Like that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was props to those guys. They had our number on that last war, but it really, a few things drop one way or another, and it goes a different way. I mean, and the tough thing is, Invictus beat Above and Beyond before. It's been since we beat them, but still, it would have been a fun match.
The 2.0 family in general, countless times we've warred obviously Above and Beyond. So they're a good family. I don't. I mean, that Dark Looters obviously is Dark Looters. So even obviously Dark Looters X is going to be full of amazing talent. I think that's going to be a really good final. I guess we'll see.
I agree.
So I mean, Invicta moving forward, I believe is going to be in the what was it called? What's the new clan called?
Rising.
The CWL Rising.
Yeah, so Invictus is going to be in CWL Rising. I mean, it's we'll talk about this later on, but it's pretty cool. We've got a clan from the family in each one of the categories of CWL for the next season, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And Swarm, just to throw this out real quick, of course, Swarm is not the type of clan that winds up in a CWL. It's a recruiting training clan. But we've got a new leader in Swarm. And so Lee recently took over. Clutch moved to 2.0. He's a co in Invicta, and then his other account is in 2.0. So
he's actually a 2.0 CO, basically.
Oh, really?
Behind the scenes.
There we go. So,
maybe we didn't really officially announce it, but he's definitely, with all that sort of has happened over the last little bit, which again, we're going to touch on here soon, guys. We got, just real quick, I mean, we merged with Genesis. We got all this other stuff going on. We had some people leave, but we gained a lot. And, just so there's a lot of talk about here that will make more sense to what Dr. D is talking about right now as we talk about it more.
Yeah, and I guess that's about it, right? Invicta's in Rising, and we can move on to the more interesting stuff that we've got going on. So,
yeah. So I mean, like I just mentioned, the big news for us is that we merged with OneHive Genesis. So sort of the deal we kind of made with them while planning this stuff is we're gonna really just let their recruitment system sort of run dry, I guess, so to speak, and then we're gonna start funneling all of our recruits through Swarm. So you would apply to our clan just like normal, and eventually you'll get a tryout in Swarm, whether that's 3 wars or 10 wars. It kind of depends. If you come in and you're a superstar, you kind of get thrown into the mix instantly. But now we have the option sort of to choose which clan we're going to put you in, whether that's in Invicta, where you're going to get a chance at CWL Rising, or now we have Genesis as well, that's going to absorb fresh talent, and that sort of maybe that. It's just there's certain guys that stand out, but also a lot of it's going to depend on clan needs and roster needs. But you're going to end up going into Genesis and getting a chance to compete in CWL Premier. Did they fully announce it? It's officially announced?
It's announced. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah. So and then both of those clans, we're going to pick all-star talent and form our CWL invite team. So. That's kind of
Clutch just posted in the Discord chat. He said Venom's still kicking on fumes, but kicking.
Oh yeah,
it is.
We
Venom's
do
in a
have
war
Venom
right
now. That's awesome.
Is Ice still the leader? That's a
question.
Right
Good
now,
question.
That's a question for you, Clutch. I'm pretty sure he gave leadership up because he had to move his account. I don't know. So let's touch on a little bit about some stuff I was going to talk with Snip about, because obviously War Whales just had a blunderous loss. I mean, to our former sister clan, OneHive 1.0.
Upset City.
Unbelievable. Wow. Shout out to our bees. We still, although we're not technically sister clans anymore, we still have a lot of close ties, obviously, with 1.0, and props to them. Good luck in the finals coming up. But
kidding. Dark leaders.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean,
Yeah.
they actually put together a really solid war from the get go. I got to tune in for the end of that, and it was, they had. I think that when I tuned in, they still had like something like 3 or 4 11s left, they had 4 11 hits left, and they had 4 10s that weren't cleared, and that was it. And so 10v10 triples were light there, but on both sides. But man, I was shocked. I was shocked, and they put together a really really nice war.
I think it's good to see that they're still kicking, even though Jake isn't still there. I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of had a little bit of a worry that after he left the game, that at one point I was just going to kind of wind down, and you saw a lot of really good guys from over there head out to other clans. I mean, you saw, Snip left. You had all these like big names that you always saw recapped for years just head out, but they've turned it around. Props to them.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. Selfishly, going into this episode, I've been talking to Snip this week and found out some cool info. So I ended up was rooting for War Wheels because turns out Supercell's actually flying 3 reps from each of the finalist clans to Finland
Right.
for part of a live stream. So Snip was actually one of his clan's representatives. So it would have been pretty cool to have him on and discuss that. But yeah,
That
kind of
sucks.
what Pitt said. Yeah, so OneHive, yeah, they kind of come in waves. Man, they were about as good as it got there back in the day, and then they dropped where they really were struggling there for a while. And man, obviously they've really turned it on.
The Hafter clan went to War Whales.
They did, but man, kudos to OneHive because I know this war meant a lot to them, facing a bunch of their old clanmates and
Unbelievable.
people
After
didn't
the
pick them
whole,
to win.
and then after the whole like Garsk thing too, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Real quick
Oh,
here,
I just got an official PM. Nate is the new leader of Venom. So
Okay, gotcha. I don't know if
I didn't know that Venom was going to be a new Golden Goblins feeder, so that's a good thing.
Oh,
ouch.
oh,
I don't
too
know if
soon?
Homestar is joking here or not, but people do know that Jake doesn't play anymore, right? He retired.
I would hope
Homestar's
so.
been out of the game, man. He
Yeah,
may
he's
not
been
know.
a long time. I remember that
Jake's
was
been. Oh, I just got it. What game is he playing? He's been posting
Dawn of
probably
Titans.
Vain
Dawn of
Glory or something.
Titans. Dawn of Titans.
Oh, is that what it
Can
is?
can
Oh.
we go ahead and announce who our guest is going to be next episode?
No. No.
There's a teaser.
It's a teaser. We got a big guest.
2 big
Coming up.
guests.
Well, we got a lot of big guests. So, speaking of Garsk, one thing I noticed is with the CWL, and this sort of what upset me about the way they handled the Garsk situation. However, over sort of obviously with our situation with Crummel and the sort of this issue that we're going to discuss here in a minute with Golden Goblins getting disqualified, I was actually really impressed with how well the league handled it. I don't know what you guys thought.
I mean, it's a hard situation that they're in because the second that you start doing, I mean, either way, they're in between a rock and a hard place, the CWL admins, because if they don't do anything, they lose credibility. But the second that they start kicking people, it has to be fair game across the board, that they have to do it. But I'm sure here in a little bit we're going to talk about another clan that just recently bit the dust.
Well, I think going forward, they're going to have to figure out something. Some sort of reffing system, right, to make sure that this isn't happening. I don't know. I don't know how they'll fix this, but it's been on the honor system basically, and there's been no real way to tell if anything was going on. Go ahead.
It's like Supercell is being more active. But it still exists. But I feel like because Supercell is doing some stuff, people are just sort of ignoring it altogether. And I don't want to be like, I don't know, too naive, but
So
at
Wiser,
a,
good time to answer this question. Chat's asking, what did Garsky do? Do you want to give details?
Oh,
Because
that's a good.
not
Yeah.
everyone knows.
what did Garst do?
Yeah.
Um, Garsk was using a burner account to practice attacks in a different clan. So he would build the base, I guess, or something like that. And he had it
He
was a
would build
ton.
like the shell of the base, like the basic, like where he wanted to do the queen walk. Like he would make. My understanding is he would make like a base with just compartments where there'd be like possible queen walk entries, and he would model those after bases that he found and
Using
use
like a
it.
Town Hall 8 so that you could immediately attack it, right? There wasn't a cooldown.
Yeah, and it was just he was traced to being in this clan and was found out and asked, I guess, about it and admitted it. Um, so was booted out of War Whales. But my concern was that he warred with them all the way up until that point. So it just sort of seemed like they're like, well, all the wars that they've had with this guy who just admitted he's been cheating, um, which you think as soon as someone admits they're cheating, you can't really believe anything else they say at the same time, right? Like that isn't that sort of hand in hand kind of thing, like um and I just felt that they sort of just took him at his word on it after that fact and didn't penalize them at all for the wars they won with this guy on their roster. And to me, and again, I don't know the details behind the scenes about it, so I can't fully say, but to me, at least as a public spectator, felt that it was more just, okay, he said he was cheating, we boot him out, let's just sweep it under the rug and move on. Where in like the Golden Goblin situation, to me, at least as a public spectator, it seems like they're really investigating what happened and want to find out all the details to make a proper decision. And that's what they need to be doing with the way that the direction this is going. And the fact that clearly cheats are out there, people are using them, like it's a fact now.
Well, that
And
also wise like what you were saying earlier about how people, because Supercell's doing a little bit, people generally aren't making any accusations for better or worse. But that kind of puts clans like ours in a little bit of a situation because you have back to back, you have Crummel, and then the very next week you have Golden Goblins again. You know, so I mean, are we going to be the guys that cried wolf? I mean, obviously, Crumble was found out, but you know, it looks bad on you as a clan if every single war that you come in and lose, it's like, you're going to start dropping the M word every single time. Are they modding? But and then they find out that they are. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a difference in some of these. I was talking with someone today about this. To me, I hate to say it, but it was blatantly obvious during that GG war. I played this game for a very long time at every town hall level. I mean, we warred a lot of top clans, and it was, to me, just obvious. Like, they started off, I remember this, it was either 4 or 5, where they scouted a base, scouted a town hall 10, and then they first hit triple with the 10.
okay,
4 or 5 times in a row.
let's not get too deep into that conversation first. I don't want to. Because I want to talk a little bit more about the merger and sort of Genesis and Premier before we really get into too much and more into just 2.0 stuff. Um, Real quickly, your guys' thoughts when we announced the merger to you, because I know none of you really saw it coming. Of JP and all his fucking spies he has all over the freaking Clash world. I just knew like before I did probably. So, um, what were you guys' thoughts about when we announced it?
Well, I kind of did know. I knew a few days before, but I actually didn't think it would happen when I was kind of looking at it, just because I was actually here before when 1.0 and Genesis were family, and I didn't see it happening. I know both clans kind of had their history, went our separate ways, but once I actually found out that it was going to happen, I definitely saw the benefits for it when you funnel in recruits from two different places. You're doubling your recruiting. That does give us a chance to be in all the CWL leagues. Gives us flexibility with rosters.
Hey,
So
chat's in the chat.
yeah, I saw that. So yeah, I thought about it for a minute. I had to sleep on it for a night. I was kind of unsure, to be honest with you. But more I thought about it, the more I saw the benefits of it, for sure.
I
was
like.
excited. I heard about that. I was so pumped up. I was like, man, this is some change. I mean, change it can be fun sometimes.
I agree. I was also. Oh, go ahead, Weiser. I'll come back.
Well, I was just gonna say we weren't sure at first. Like, we had actually, you probably guys don't know, a ways back had touched on. We had discussed a merger, but it just we didn't go with too much into detail. We just sort of spoke about kind of how our clans worked, and it was just like, okay, well, we'll see how things pan out over the next while. So then this sort of came sort of unexpectedly, and we talked about it as leadership, and immediately we saw this vision of having the family, having the ability to have clans in 3 of the CWL leagues, and how appealing that might be to a lot of those a lot of maybe newer guys that are really want to get dedicated into this game, and maybe just start off in light or rising or whatever, right? So uh, we immediately, like, at least for myself, I know I immediately thought, like, we need to hear this out because Genesis had just been through some tough times. Obviously they had that clan ban. I think they were the only clan to actually get nailed with that. So I'll just be out front, it was a shitty situation for them, and they've gone over it and over it. And I will tell you, since it's happened, talking with a lot of their leadership and just sort of being able to interact with them now on a daily basis, they're a bunch of really cool guys. I really like having them on board. And I think it's a super positive thing for the family. So, but what are you saying,
Yeah,
Rob?
I was. I mean, I know that there was there was a lot of different thoughts and emotions about this when it first happened. I was excited as well, like Pitt. I thought this would be a great thing. Having the opportunity to add a third CWL potential third CWL clan gives a lot more guys a lot more opportunities. And there's some really solid guys over in Genesis, and so there's always stuff to learn, right? And I was excited. I was excited to expand and make it bigger. I mean, I think it's cool.
Pitt, turn the shower off.
It's not me.
I think
Go ahead.
guys. There were some guys that were a little bit worried, a little learned about how this was going to unfold, and I think there was concerns about how is this going to make it harder for me to get to 2.0, and I think the as we've always said, right, either in video, mostly actually only in videos up to this point. You do your time in the clans, and you in the clans below 2.0, and you make you make the effort, and you wind up there. You wind up in that upper echelon, and I think it's great. I think eventually, I think there's a little bit of concern. There's a lot of change all at once, though. And that's what people were mostly concerned with. I think it was like, there's a merger, and then we're moving everything over to DC, which we hadn't been using. I mean, some of us used it to plan attacks with each other, but as a clan, we weren't using DC. And then of course, losing a couple of key guys that had been here since I've been here for sure. I think it was tough for guys. So.
Yeah.
The best part about Discord was watching people try to get their account set up on the bot. The frustration.
Says JP.
I got pretty pissed off too.
Herding
I can't
cats,
lie.
man.
It takes
watching.
It takes JP about 45 minutes to get his Skype going. So.
Hey, that was a one-time thing. But yeah, watching some of the guys try to get their war match set up and all these codes to type in, and the frustration. That was one of the best parts for me. I just chill in that chat and watch people.
On honestly, we had talked to leadership about the benefits of Discord. Um, it's so much better. It saves us work. Like it tracks everything, tracks stats. There's a couple little things that might not be as great, like stickers. But seriously, as a clan and functioning app for the clan, it makes way more sense. It's a little more difficult, what I find, to sort of keep track of activity,
Yeah.
because you don't see sort of like the missed messages amount. It just sort of shows you in notification amounts. But other than that, like I think it's awesome. Huge change. So we use that as sort of a positive thing about it, that we could adapt to Genesis for and make it easier for them for the merge, because they did do some things for us, right? They had no problems sort of adapting um, how our recruitment process works, and how our chat system works. Although they had obviously their own Genesis DC, we created a whole brand new one for the entire family, and set it up like our old chats were in line. So it was an easier transition for our guys, and obviously because it's DC, it was super easy for the Genesis guys. So that made it really nice. Um, and overall, I mean, Genesis still had quite a few recruits because Genesis is also OneHive Alpha. So we did sort of absorb two clans, but we just felt, because the way the application process goes right now is we're getting a Genesis added to our website at onehiveclan.com, and uh, everything's now just going to go right through Swarm. And we just have our sort of choice now to pick and choose where we need recruits to go, because now there's like obviously now, yeah, one thing you got pointed out, Dr. is people are concerned about, can they move to 2.0. Well, the it's sort of the top guys. I mean, your CWL roster is only, I mean, an invite we're going to get 40 man, but there's sort of set rosters.
Mhm.
So if guys want to be competing at a higher level, not everyone's going to get the chance to 2.0, but now they're going to be able to be in, good serious competition on a regular basis in any of these clans. And at the same time, as a family, we want to be competitive in all three of those leagues. So although yes,
Right.
ideally we want all the best players in 2.0, we need top-notch players and leaders in all of those clans to make sure that we stay competitive in all of those leagues, right? We're
Yeah.
not just going to poach absolutely everybody and then be like, oh yeah, and have fun, right? So
Mhm.
Weiser said the P word.
That leads Pitt. You got anything to say?
I think we'll get to that. By the way, my wife just texted me as she's watching, so no inside baseball, any of you guys.
um all right. So it's a pleasure having Genesis on board, and once we also sort of, one of the agreements was that um, it was more like we kind of agreed on more of a roster freeze when they came in, so that we would just absorb them into our clan system, but not like start immediately fucking throwing people all over the place, because that's going to kind of scare people, right? So we wanted to make sure that they could come in and join our family and support themselves without having to shuffle anyone around, and compete in their CWL Premier this year, or this season, sorry. And then we would just be able to sort of shuffle and make our season 2 rosters out of the 2.0 family, and then have an entire season now to basically sort of evaluate all three clans and decide what's best for all three families. And it just seemed perfect. Like we just have this
Mhm.
such a larger pool of players, um, and like I don't know, I just see a lot of good things from this. Serious, nice. So I don't know what you guys want to take a break, or is that what you're getting at, Pitt?
No, I think it was kind of a good segue there to talk about some of the people that we lost and some ensuing drama that I was a part of and other people were. I don't know if any of you guys want to kind of introduce what happened or not, but I think we can talk about
Um,
that and
I
take a
can
break.
I can if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, okay, so uh, right before the break, I will sort of introduce to what exactly we're going to start talking about after the break. Um, it, we had obviously our semifinal matchup in the CWL midseason for against Golden Goblins. We lost miserably. Didn't have a great war at all. GG put up great score like they always do. Um, and right after the war, we lost a handful of key members. And off season, CWL, it's a competitive beast, and it happened. We lost some good old time members, good friends, on top of great clashers. So it was a bit of a dark time. It shook the family up. It had a ripple effect throughout the family, and was a tough week this last week for a lot of leadership. Um, and some of us started to panic a little bit, and some of us maybe jumped the gun on trying to reach out to some people to plug some holes in the family. And I don't know. I think Pitt might have overstepped his bounds a little bit. Maybe you can kind of fill in everyone else what we're talking about.
Yeah. So that night, whenever we kind of found out that there was going to be some people leaving, uh, we also found out that a few of the people that were leaving were, I'll just use the word poach. I think that's the most accepted term. They were poaching off a few other players that were still in the clan, and we saw messages that they were doing that. And inside Elder chat, people were freaking out. Like people are getting mad. They're getting pissed off. Um, and like Weiser said, I think that people sort of myself mainly kind of jumped the gun and decided, well, if they're gonna poach us, we're gonna go poach back. And well, I may have
Pitt,
reached
Pitt,
out
Pitt, Pitt.
like several dozen people saying, "Hey, you want to come on over to OneHive 2.0?" And screenshots got taken, and CWL admins came in and said, "Knock it off." So I would like to apologize for that. It was during a little bit of a panic moment, I think, just with everything going on, but.
Heat of the
Uh,
moment.
Heat of the moment. Heat of the
It's all
moment.
right, buddy. I forgive you.
I should be for it. I don't deserve to be here.
All right, so let's take a bit of a break then, and when we come back, we can touch a little bit on sort of our abysmal semifinals matchup versus Gold Goblins.
Hey, we came in second place in MCWL.
I don't know if anyone was impressed with that comment. um, so anyways, we'll talk about our abysmal effort moving into the finals where Golden Goblins faced off against War and Glory, and then sort of what happened there. And exactly what might happen further and beyond. And now maybe we got chat in the live chat. Hopefully he can jump on over to our DC or something like that, buddy. So maybe we can get you in here for this second half. But gonna take a break and throw on our last Invicta recap for you here, done by Dr. D himself. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nope.
No, let's take a break. We'll be
All
back
right.
in 20, 30.
Yeah, no. 15, 20 minutes tops.
2 hours.
Some of us have to work in the morning.
All right. So we're back. So yeah, what I was touching on a little bit before the break. We had our semifinal playoff match last week versus Golden Goblins, and it did not go so well. Maybe we can just talk a little bit about that war, guys. Our Town Hall Nines did great. We had maybe am I crazy? I hope
10 or 11 scouts. I think 11.
Okay, good. Our Town Hall Nines did great. It was tough on the middle. We didn't have one triple, I don't think. 10 versus 10.
We didn't.
Which is, I mean, it's no easy feat. No blamed anyone, but It was a tough war. I think we only had 80 stars. What was the final?
87 to 80.
87 to 80. So another 87 star war for Golden Goblins. I don't know. We were just deflated. What were you? I mean, JP, I know you were talking a little bit about some feelings you had during that war. I don't know if you want to elaborate any more on that.
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I've been playing this game for a while, and I've seen a lot of attacks, but man, watching those, I don't know. It's just you just can't be that perfect. Some of these attacks, and I really started. I didn't say anything publicly, but I started to wonder. I said, "This base must be exposed." So I'd messaged the guy, and I said, "He said, no, it's a brand new base. No one's ever seen it. No one's hit it." I said, "How do they know? How do they know this walk perfectly? You know, 2, 3 layers of wall breaking in." Yeah, it was frustrating. A lot of those attacks, I definitely had my questions on. There's a difference between a good attack with a couple mistakes that they pull off a 3-star to
And you never really
absolute.
know. You
You don't
never,
know, but
never.
it wasn't hidden very well. It was, to me, blatantly obvious. It was just very painful to watch some of these, and just you could tell a minute into the attack it was over. Just a perfect walk, and it was like, oh, very, very discouraging. So
I
I
wonder.
wasn't shocked to hear I woke up with the news that they were disqualified, and I wasn't shocked at all.
Um, I don't think anyone was shocked, but I wish I was able to even recap that war. Honestly, those CWL recaps kill me. I don't know if Doctor D feels that pain. It's ridiculous, and
Yeah.
my work schedule. At least you get the weekends off. You got to realize, like, I'm a restaurant guy. My busy nights are Friday, Saturdays. So our war goes from like 5 p.m. Friday to 5 p.m. Saturday. So that means you have until 5 p.m. Sunday to get that recap done. Well, I work on Saturday from like 4 until 1 in the morning. So I never get to see the end of the war. And then I also have to work at noon on Sunday until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So by the time I'm done on Sunday, it's wiped, and I get home Saturday night at like midnight or 1 in the morning, and that's basically my only time to have to do the recap. Like, I don't have a choice. If I don't, I miss it. And unfortunately for this one, right after we lost, we got some bad news and lost 5 guys pretty much right off the bat. They decided to go to Golden Goblins. Some are longtime members, longtime friends, so it was very sad to see them go, especially to Golden Goblins. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about that, but obviously with Dirty Italian, Hood Rat, those guys were my fellow co-leaders. Very sad to see them go. Along with, I mean, Ice didn't leave. Ice brought an account there. Was sort of feeling out he was staying in 2.0. So I want to make that very clear. Ice did definitely want to stay as part of 2.0. And then Kickbacks, aka Alpha, and what was missing? Zerds.
We lost
Zerds.
Iggy as well.
And then we ended up losing a couple others. It was a ripple effect throughout the clan, and it was tough. It was a very dark moment for the leadership. Very, very tough week for us overall, especially after a loss like that. Pitt, you didn't really say much, but from the Town Hall 9 perspective, I mean, we were looking at that and we're like, okay, well, we got a shot, but I don't know. It's tough. What were your thoughts on that last weekend, Pitt? I can't hear you. Your microphone is off. That's why he wasn't saying anything.
We should just act like we hear him.
That would
Still
be
don't
funny.
hear you, buddy.
Boo.
Pitt, that expensive mic you just bought.
Ouch.
Nothing.
I don't know.
He's talking away. He must be able to hear himself and not us. I don't know.
Yeah. He's
It was demoralizing.
chewing away.
There he goes.
the whole atmosphere for a little while there was really depressing, and I think a lot of us had to do some soul searching, and some of us had to decide if we still wanted to keep playing this game. And I think the general consensus is that we want to give it another shot. We want to see this thing through. We've come too far. We've spent too much time playing this game to just give up after some guys leave. And we've had a big influx of recruiting from the Genesis merger. I think that got a lot of people interested. So I think I'm optimistic. I'm really optimistic about the future.
Yeah. Also, talking to a couple of the guys, recruiting has been huge influx of recruits coming through, and also, we kind of tweaked the process for guys coming from the top-notch clans. So before you'd go through the whole process, you'd a lot of times be on a waiting list. You'd go through Swarm. You'd work your way up. So we kind of expedited some of that. If you come from a known clan and you've got people vouching for you, so we've got several people from known clans that are going through the process now too. So I'm definitely encouraged as well. I felt the same way Pitt
Well,
did, but things are
another
looking
thing as
good.
well. I mean, not aside, from the poaching thing about Pitt. There's the CWL is folding clans.
Yep.
Clans are realizing that they're just not going to be competitive, and they're probably either better off merging with another clan, and or sort of all the guys going their own ways, and bolstering other rosters. And as these clans fold, other clans get stronger. So it sucks. I get it for those clans that had ties to those clans from the beginning, but in the end, it's just to be for a more competitive player base within these leagues, and it's going to take its toll on a lot of clans, and it sucks. But in the same token, that's where a lot of these surges in applicants come from, is these clans that are sort of splitting apart, and guys are looking for new homes. So we're trying to just take advantage of that.
I do want to, Chad just said something I think is interesting. It was a rough week. There was ripple effects felt all the way down into Swarm, where guys just don't even have ties with 2.0. But yeah, a rough week. But we did regroup, and I feel that it's a stronger clan now than it was 2 weeks ago, or at least we're in a good spot right now. I feel like I wouldn't say necessarily stronger, but we're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me throw out this question. So, Ant-Man has a good question we could talk about. Will 2.0 try to win each league, or just stack 2.0's roster to win CWE invite? Wiser, probably best for you to speak on it, because I'm sure there's some balance you got to do there.
That's what I was touching on before the break. That's a very, very fragile thing, because yes, we obviously, well, for us to even be competitive in invite, we need the best of the best. But at the same token, we want obviously our other clans to be competitive. So that's why, first of all, the merger with Genesis, we had to make sure they were able to support at least a basic roster for themselves for a season, so that we didn't have to worry too much about the amount of guys, because we didn't even know about our, we probably lost 7 guys, I think, in total. Maybe not even. We at least 5. Plus,
You
like you
felt
said,
it more
Iggy.
because the guys that we did lose were really active.
Yeah.
You
But
you felt
anyways,
it because of that.
so say we lost about 6 or 7 guys. Well, we know we're gonna have to pull that from Invicta, and that was gonna really sort of limit their roster moving forward in this season. And we do want all the clans to be competitive. So that was sort of the things we were thinking about there. But absolutely, there's no way this is how it was even back in the day. Invicta always did arranged wars, but we would never do something as 2.0 that would just completely cripple Invicta to be just not competitive whatsoever. So
That's
that's
a good question.
always something we
Yeah.
think about for sure. Another thing, Dally Boy, another question Dally Boy had. So I know we were going to answer more of these at the end, but I don't want to forget. Was just overall, what are your thoughts about CWO adding that 4th league to begin with?
Well, I think they had to. I mean, had to is probably not the right word, but when you were on with Rig Show, I believe they said 1,200 clans applied to the CWL.
Yeah, it was fucking
And
crazy.
Wow.
I mean, why not add that fourth league when you have so many solid? You've got a good 100 150 known clans that are solid, and if you don't add that fourth league, you're cutting out a lot of good clans that deserve to be in one of these.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was a good idea. I thought I was watching the amount of applicants and emails that Iblon had to go, or whatever
Blondie.
Don Blondie had to go through. Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Um, so moving in to so obviously, sorry, we lost our players, but I think the silver lining was far greater than our loss. I mean, unfortunately though, when you lose friends, that hurts a lot. But in the bigger picture, I think we're in a decent spot now, and everyone's been super positive. The Genesis guys have been just awesome to have. So really looking forward to this coming season. And like Chad Fowler said, having that guy in there with his Town Hall 10, working with guys like McGrady and our Town Hall 11s like Boz and good old Zero. We got some good guys here, and I think overall the activity is going to improve because I know that's something we were concerned about at the Town Hall 10 and 11 level. At a certain point, was just sort of guys sort of like grouped and clicked together that would sort of plan on their own, and then a few different groups would do that, which has made sort of our overall communication and activity very stagnant. I would say. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but
Yeah,
I, I,
and one
I
other
don't.
thing about that, I wasn't completely shocked that when you talk about a clan of 100 people, that we lost 5 people or 6 people. Every clan is losing people. It's the off
yeah.
season. This is the only time to transfer. You're locked into a roster otherwise. So
Between all four clans, is almost 200 members now.
yeah, so for us to lose 5 or 6 people, in my opinion, wasn't that crazy. That's at least the way I looked at it.
Wow, 160, 170, but definitely over 150.
I don't know if it is. I mean, we don't want to get too deep into it, but what do you guys think happens to Golden Goblins?
Well, let's get on to sort of what happened. Obviously, Golden Goblins beat War and Glory. I didn't get to see the war. I don't know if you guys saw the streams. We didn't even talk about this, but from what I gather, there was like a last minute victory. Um, but the announcement that was made, in a nutshell, I actually don't have a screenshot of it. I wish I could pull it up, but it basically said that Caesar, for Golden Goblins, was cheating and admitted to cheating. So he's immediately banned from the CWL and then all the affiliates or whatever. And they were going to be investigating into whether it was an isolated incident of closet modding or if there was any sort of leadership knowledge or involvement, and their season 2 status is to be determined. So that can mean anything. But I was, again, at least as a someone who's reading that from the outside, is like, okay, they're doing their diligence. They banned the guy. They're looking into the situation further to make sure it's not something, because there's those situations where a lot of clans, you feel it's like the don't ask, don't tell sort of attitude towards cheating, and I'm definitely not a fan of that.
No, definitely.
Yeah, very frustrating. We'll see what they decide. Obviously, none of us have any say in it, but
Do you
I
guys
guess you
get
look at
any?
the background of the clan. I mean, in my opinion, it's you got to look at the history of the clan. So that's gotta come into effect with a clan who's been down this road more than one time.
Chat just commented it's been
Yeah.
a 2-day investigation to make sure we're making the right decisions. So I don't know. I chat 100% impressed with how you guys have handled this. It really just a lot of it's important to as the public views what you guys are doing in these situations is so important, because obviously with the way the league's progressing, this is the make it or break it time, and you want to make sure that it's on the straight and narrow from the get go. And with the fact that, at least to me, um, from what I thought about modding and potential cheating, maybe a few months back when Supercell really started cracking down with the ban hammer, to now. Um, I think it's easier to hide than a lot of us feel, and it's gonna happen in this very competitive atmosphere. It's bound to happen, right? I mean, people are always going to be looking for the way to one up. I mean, whether it's a video game or it's in real life, it's just it happens. Some people succumb to that human nature, so this is going to be an issue sort of over and over
It's a
again.
sign of character. It's a character thing, in my opinion. If you want to
Yep.
go open mod, go do it. I don't care what you do, but to
Mhm.
disguise yourself in a clan to have an advantage on others and pretend to be something you're not, that to me, that's a character issue.
Yeah, and it screws the rest of your clan. I mean, I mean, if it's one guy, then you're screwing over 49 other people, right? It is. It's a shitty thing to do.
Yep.
So, but I definitely think, obviously, so War and Glory victories or victors of the midseason CWL.
That makes us runners up, right?
I don't think so.
What's funny is
Unfortunately.
Emphatic Elite got beat by Golden Goblins, so technically they would have something to say too. So War and Glory deserves it. I'm happy they got the win.
Fucking rights. You know what? They've kicked our ass in the past.
I've got
So-
a lot of old
Really good
clanmates
clan.
over there. They're really good guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, real happy for them.
So what happens with Golden Goblins? Now, obviously the CWL admins have a huge issue on their hands. I think there's other factors that are hopefully being considered, because let's be honest, Golden Goblins had a horrible reputation coming into this. And there was a lot of there's always been speculation on them, and the fact that not only did they lose I'm pretty sure it was 2 guys to the ban wave last week or a couple weeks or whatever, right before we wore them.
I saw that inside a DC chat. I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
100% they at least lost 1 guy to the ban wave, or 2, I don't remember, but maybe someone in chat can answer that. So not only did they have a poor reputation kind of coming in, lost guys to the ban wave, then this happens. Like, I don't know, man.
On that note, inside the DC, Rito brings up a pretty funny point. He says, "Do you think it is weird that in the last podcast you were talking about ban/octopus and not seeing any for a while, and the next day or so, Supercell puts out a ban wave?" We got influence, guys.
You're welcome.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I personally don't think Golden Goblins deserves a spot in invite. I have no say in it, but that's just my personal opinion.
I don't know, man. It's a tough decision. A really tough decision. But like I said, those 3 factors, everybody was looking at Golden Goblins. I mean, I don't know. People have talked about them for such a long time. A lot of people just didn't like them because of the way they used to hunt clans back when you sort of could. I guess I was thinking about that a little while ago. I'm like, how do you clans get hunted? Like, with all the clan war challenges now, it must be so difficult to hunt a clan.
That is one nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about this though, even one Town Hall 10 or one Town Hall 11 modding in a clan makes a massive difference. Because like we talked about, every 10-on-10 triple is huge in these wars. So
absolutely,
1 or 2 people doing it, that can win a war right there. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And it looks like it did against Warwell, or against War and Glory. I don't know if you guys saw the star count or not. Do you know how big of a difference it was?
I heard that the war was won on a Town Hall 11 versus 11 triple at the very end of the war.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
What was the score? 88, 87?
It's crazy.
I'm asking. I don't know.
In chat, Greg says 88,
so
85.
88, 85. So no, it wasn't won by that, or what I said. But I know
8 stars. That's ridiculous.
that's fucking crazy. And I know, again, it's gonna be a tough subject. And this is what fucking sucks about modding from the beginning. This is what, like, way back in the day, before any clan wars, for any CWL, you questioned you questioned everything that was good, and there was no definition. It was so hard to be sure that it was someone being good or someone cheating, because there was always that second guessing in the back of your head, even and then it just gets to the point where, well, Supercell lays out a few bans. That's awesome, but
In DC chat, they said that Golden Goblin was 8 Town Hall 10 triples and the 11 v11 at the very end, but that didn't matter.
Yeah, they said it was 85-85 at the last minute because there was a unhit base and they tripled it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so they added 3 stars at the end. So I guess a 2-star would have won it, a 1-star would have won it, but still, it's pretty something else there.
that is crazy.
I've got a couple questions here, Weiser. So, with someone mentioned, have there been talks, or do you see a chance of us discussing rejoining 1.0, rejoining back with those guys?
There's never been talks. That's
Got something to say? He looks a little nervous over there.
No, that's actually a great question. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that could ever happen again. Really, we don't have a bad relationship with the leadership over there whatsoever. Um, there's been times, not really recently, but where we've had members sort of swap out for wars or whatever. That's an
but
interesting
but we
question.
were never a real sister clan to them to begin with. I mean, we had loose affiliation, at least like whenever I came in over a year ago. Like there was kind of loose affiliation. Every once in a while there'd be like a family scrim, but other than that, I mean, there wasn't anything like really holding everyone together besides like a, I don't know. We had not Discord, what was it? TeamSpeak. There's like a TeamSpeak server back then.
I can tell you this: the only thing we shared. So I was in leadership back when we were together. The only thing we shared a website. I remember that. So all the applicants would go through, and then the only really shared chat was a leadership chat between all the leaders of 1.0, Genesis 2.0, everything. But there was no family chat between all the
Oh
clans.
yeah, you were a co-lead during those times.
Good times. The person who brought you into Invicta may have hazed you a
Yeah,
little bit.
you
That's
got
a
me
good
there.
story. I don't know if we've told that story on podcast. It's
Got
worth
me
a tell.
there. I'm pretty sure I've told that story in a video before.
I don't remember. But yeah, good times, man. Yeah, I go way back.
Great question though. That is a
Yeah,
great
I like the
question though.
question.
But I think it's been so long, and we're all just like there would be no point. We would basically just run on our own. Look at my cat in the background. That's awesome. I think it's been so long, and we've been running just fully on our own through our own recruiting systems and our own social media and websites and stuff like that. There would be no point, not a mutual benefit that I think we could see that would make sense to do that. Especially with Genesis coming on board now, I think we got enough sort of beef within our family that we can handle any sort of capacity we need to try and fill these rosters. So.
They another question. Which of us watched The Walking Dead?
Dude,
I
it is on the
definitely
DVR right now.
yes, I have recorded it.
Well, what does
Story.
that mean?
Actually, well, we were supposed to have Snip on tonight, of course, but he's sick. We reached out to Devin, who is the leader over at Genesis, and he hasn't missed an episode of The Walking Dead live in 3 years, and he felt horrible that he couldn't come on,
It
but
would have been great, but we
priorities.
definitely absolutely going to get you on Devin at some point here in the future. We do have, hopefully, I want to make sure we're like extra confirmed on our guests. Like we were literally 100%. Snip was
Oh
coming
yeah.
on tonight, so it was just unfortunate. So I want to be 100% sure that we have our next guest locked up, so you guys don't feel we're like baiting for views or whatever. But we do have some really cool people coming on the show here up in the future. Um, So I guess really, season 2 coming to a close for the CWL.
Season one. Season
Or
one.
sorry, season 1. Derp. Season 2 on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to Invite. We got a pretty tough schedule. I think we got War Whales in week 4 or 5.
Well, Golden Goblins was in our bracket too, weren't they, for season 2?
To be determined.
Uh,
To be determined. Yeah, the all right, so we might get some different answers on this, but the next question: who is the best looking of the four of us?
That's easy.
Who asked that? First of all, that's the
Probably
important.
Sparrow. I'm gonna
It
call
may have been
Sparrow.
Was
Dally
Sparrow.
Boy. I don't remember who asked that. It's a tough one. We got some
I don't know.
good-looking men in this
I
thing.
like my bald head.
Yeah,
I mean, JP's got the beard going, right?
it's true.
I know. I
You
I
shaved.
lost
I mean,
points this week. Saved.
you should have kept that great big beard.
Also, I wanted to shout out to Heartless. So, Heartless is on his own time here, running stuff for us, running Discord. He set up links. He's got the stream going through our bot. Really appreciate the work he's put into this. Really, really helpful guy. I'm sure he's tired of hearing from me. He's been helping me with setting up
Oh,
War Match nonstop.
I had a good picture of him. I was gonna load up of him
Pirate?
with his full pirate hat on. Yeah,
You should.
Heartless is the pirate of 2.0.
You ever seen Dodgeball? Whenever I think of Heartless, I think of the
Yeah.
pirate. I think of the
Steve the
guy.
pirate.
That's funny. Yeah.
Steve the pirate. What a great fucking show. Class with chat. PC versus 2.0. When's that gonna happen?
That'd be a
It's
good
still
one.
weird to me.
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
like incest for you,
That's right.
JP.
It's very weird.
See, but you
One
needed
little
Effie. I don't know why you bitched out. Like, we need you at Town Hall 10, and he sells his 10 and goes back to 9 and then gets an 11. Like,
That is
come on,
a
JP.
true story.
Grow
Well,
up.
10 you know how it was. 10 was no fun for a couple months. I almost quit the game. That is no
Yeah,
fun.
hold out. Yeah. No,
Heartless says Yarg.
Yarr.
Well, definitely shout out to Heartless because he did a lot of behind the scenes stuff for us. He's awesome. Been working really hard on the Discord server. One other plugin I'd like to make is Pogo. I know I talk about Pogo all the time. He gave us free access to his music to use for our bumper music, so feel free to check out Pogo on YouTube. He does
some really cool
remixes.
shit. He takes like all these old songs and old movies and like makes these weird videos and does just like remixes of stuff. It's pretty cool. But I put the link down in the YouTube video in the comments. Definitely check out that site. Obviously too, I want to give a shout out to the CWL and the CWL admins because they have taken on a huge workload. I don't think even they thought it was gonna become what it's starting to become. So real
1,200 applicant clans. I mean, that's insane.
Unreal.
And on that note, I talked to Chat on the break. Guess where he's going Tuesday?
Finland.
Going to Finland.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I'm so
same.
jealous.
I miss Homestar. We got to bring Homestar on as a guest. But apparently Heartless gave Homestar VD, so you might want to get that checked out, buddy.
That's good.
Hey, what happens in Chicago?
Stays in Chicago, including some crazy bitch huffing computer duster on the side of the road.
So before we go, do you guys want to give a prediction for season 2?
I'm down for that.
2.0. 8-3.
A prediction for our record in season 2.
I'm gonna say 8-3. I think that's reasonable.
Wow.
I mean, dude, these clans are no joke.
I like the positivity. No, hey, I was going lower.
So you're the pessimist of the group.
I am the pessimist a little bit, maybe, but there's a lot of great clans. I like our first half of the season. Our second or sort of mid to second half of the season is a little tougher, I think. From what I remember, it's been a while. Again, I was less prepared for this because Snip kind of left, I didn't have as many things to flip to. But wish I could show the roster, or sorry, the schedule for season 2 right now.
I really, really want to tease who our next guest is lined up to be.
Hold on.
You gotta get
Oh.
Weiser's
I
permission.
do want to say though I like the idea of more clans being in the both the Premier and in the Rising, because boy, just having when you only have you have 5 wars, 5 weeks, right, to make it into the playoffs, and one loss essentially eliminates you from the playoffs. It's just brutal.
Yeah, that's tough.
Having more teams and a little bit longer schedule is going to make for a better season, I think, for those lower those lower tier leagues.
I still think though that if there was only 3 leagues this coming season, because they sort of added in CWO late and mid-season as they went along, whereas this time they're rolling out the full seasons of all the leagues at the same time, that
Right,
the seasons will all be the same length, right? They had to sort of shorten those for
right.
that first season. But regardless, they have more than enough interest to accommodate both those leagues. And I think having that sort of middle step in between light and premier is a really good thing, because I think they're going to be able to really sort of um, judge clans sort of by their overall talent, and make the pools for every league and every conference very competitive. So
It's cool. I mean, you look at the even the clans in Rising. I think you know, any given weekend, any one of those clans could give one of the clans a run for their money. So I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a very interesting season with 3 leagues going. So
Sure.
absolutely. All right, well, we're pretty much just over an hour here. I don't know if you guys want to wrap things up.
yeah,
I
Yeah, we
know
did a
Jake.
final
I know,
call for questions, but I don't think we're getting anything. Nothing.
yeah, that's a good point. If anyone has any more questions before we kind of finish up here,
Yeah.
I know JP's dying to go watch The Walking Dead. So,
I'm going to bed, fool.
oh really?
He's got to work at
Watching it
3 a.m.
tomorrow. Going to bed 3 a.m. I thought it was 5
Yeah.
a.m.
No, it's earlier and earlier when you're
3 a.m.
home.
Boz has a question for you, Weiser.
Boz has a question for me.
You're the only one who can answer this. What happened in leader chats this weekend?
What happened in the leader chats this weekend?
You may not be able to get rid of some of that info.
Protect the
Well,
innocent.
Well, you know what? I will sum that up actually, because there is another piece, another person that we lost this week that means a lot to me specifically, and I think a lot of people within the 2.0 family. We had had Team Unique, one of our longtime members, a co-leader as well. Moved over to Genesis. A lot of reasons were tied to that. It wasn't by any means, by anyone at least within the leadership, um, a good feeling to lose a guy like that, and that sucks. So in the end, though, our leadership chat, to Boz, to answer your question, I think finally was able to come together and get through the moment, and is more positive and awesome than I can ever say. So I think if that's what you're getting at, unless there was something else I completely missed, but
I mean, we could really dedicate the show to him. He's such an awesome guy. Obviously, not everyone gets to meet each other just where you're at in the world, but being able to go and actually hang out with him for a couple days, he's just a genuinely amazing person. I mean, he would do anything for anyone in the clan. He would drive across the freaking continent, if you needed help with something. He's an amazing guy.
yeah. I was shocked actually. Of all of the people, that was the one that really kind of shocked me.
it
I'm
sucks.
glad that he's still here. I'm glad he's here.
It sucks because I don't want to get into the details of that, because
Right.
the people who needed to know the details know. And
Yeah.
it sucks. It was something that none of the leadership wanted to happen, but it had to happen. And it's awesome that he was able to go to Genesis and still be in our family. And that's what I'm grateful for, because he's a great friend. Was sad to sort of lose him, and who knows. So let's see how this next season goes. Right, we're gonna really evaluate all the clans for all the freaking leagues we're in. I'm really excited moving forward, and who knows what's gonna happen. 8 weeks from now, or whatever, or 10 weeks from now.
Definitely. Any final plugins you guys have? Feel free to.
TU did send you flowers, and didn't he send you like a dessert tray or something, or a fruit tray as well? I think.
Yeah, T is a great guy.
Love homie. We got to
So
get
as
homie
far
in here
as
for sure.
if you guys are still looking for a place to be, it's a great spot and a lot more excitement now with the Genesis merge and the rosters are settling in. But if Pitt hasn't already messaged you to join, then try check us out. Still looking for good people.
Straight to
Oh,
2.0,
man.
guys. Come on.
That's right.
I had to throw that one out there.
Just say Pitt sent you.
Yeah, exactly. Had to do
Oh
that.
my God. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Been a pleasure, gentlemen. I think we're going to try and roll this out every 2 weeks. If not, we'll obviously keep subscribed. Stay in the Discord chats where we're going to have some interesting stuff to keep you busy over the couple weeks staying in our Discord chat. But, you'll get your notifications of we're trying to do them on Sundays. If it doesn't work out for all of us, it will be around every 2 weeks over either like a Sunday or a Tuesday, kind of depends week to week. But stay tuned. We will announce our special guest very soon. I know Pitt's dying to say something, but
It's gonna help you suck less.
oh, spoiler!
He can't help himself.
Spoiler! You're such a dick.
It's a
But
panic moment again.
I just think you're a dick.
anyone.
I just think you're a dick because I don't know. I don't know
Anyone.
exactly if it's 100% true. But so now you have to make sure it happens, Pitt, or
I'm on
you're
it.
done for.
Oh,
But
don't look at me.
I'm on it. It's happening.
all right, guys.
No, I mean that could really be anyone. But definitely, if you guys don't already, go and follow the 2.0 family on Twitter. Wiser, it's at OneHive Clan. Is that right?
At OneHive Clan, obviously, even just www.onehivebelabs.com.
Don't you
I
dare forget.
OneHiveClan.com, yo.
Well, there's. I'm just was saying, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube and get the live notifications for the stream, you can just go to OneHiveLabs.com, or obviously our website. All of our applicant info is OneHiveClan.com. So I didn't realize this for a long time that Nemo owns the domain OneHiveLabs.com, and if you go to that, it'll just automatically bring you to our YouTube page, the main screen. So. Thanks for coming out, boys. It's been fun. Look forward to the next episode.
At the Great Patino on Twitter. At the Great Patino. Feel free to follow me. I always retweet interesting stuff.
Yeah, and about guns too. Pitt's a gun nut, so be prepared.
I'm a social justice warrior. Me and Dr. D.
It's kind of interesting because I got Pitt on my left and I got Dr. D on my right, and it's not computing for me right now. I gotta switch you guys, and then JP right in the middle. That's right. There you go. Anyhow, thank you guys. Until next time, that's episode 2 in the books for 2Bs 1 Hive.